Chosen one, I need you to stop right now. Do not scroll past this message. This is not the random algorithm trying to entertain you today. Heaven has perfectly orchestrated this exact moment because your spirit is desperately crying out for answers. You feel completely exhausted. The weight on your shoulders is real. Take one slow breath in and a slower breath out. Right now you are carrying a strange heaviness in your chest that has not left you for months. You wake up exhausted before the day even begins. People tell you it is just stress. They tell you to rest and get over it. But sleep never seems to fix this deep, bone tiredness. You are not crazy. You are not weak. What you are feeling is the physical aftermath of a massive spiritual war, and you have been fighting it entirely alone. I am here to reveal a secret that the darkness desperately wants to keep hidden from you. You did not just survive a difficult season. You did something completely unprecedented. You killed a demon 3 separate times without even knowing it. Yes, you heard me correctly. Those 3 moments in your life where you felt completely broken were actually battlefields. You thought you were losing your mind. You thought your world was falling apart. But in the spiritual realm, you were dealing a fatal blow to a generational curse. The darkness is absolutely terrified of you right now. They hoped you would just give up. They hoped the isolation and the pain would finally crush your spirit. But every single time they pushed you to the edge of the cliff, your light somehow got brighter. You refused to let your heart turn cold. And that pure endurance became a lethal weapon. If you leave this video now, you will make the biggest mistake of your entire life. You will single-handedly shut the door on the exact explanation your soul has been begging for. The enemy is praying you click away. They want you to stay confused. Because if you do not understand what you actually defeated, you will never claim your reward. There is a massive transfer of wealth and spiritual power waiting for you. But there is a hidden mechanism blocking it. You must understand the nature of those 3 distinct battles before the final lock opens. I need you to commit to staying until the final second. This knowledge is not meant for the ordinary crowd. It is strictly for the chosen. Think back to the endless nights where your mind raced with anxiety. You thought you were failing at life. Your friends disappeared. Your plans crumbled into dust. You blamed yourself for every single closed door. But heaven was deliberately isolating you to protect your energy from toxic parasites. You were being prepared for ultimate authority. Your silence has become a dangerous frequency. They thought they could manipulate your empathy forever. But the crucible of pain burned away your naive tolerance. You became the weapon you were trying to survive. Now your mere presence commands respect. The atmosphere shifts the second you walk into a room. You are a completely different entity now. Listen carefully to this next part. Do not let anything distract you right now. You have been searching for answers everywhere. You read the books and watch the endless videos, but nobody could explain why your soul feels so incredibly heavy. They gave you psychological labels but completely ignored the massive spiritual warfare raging right inside your own home. The truth is far more intense than you ever imagined. You are currently carrying the energetic scars of 3 distinct battles. And because you fought them blindly, your spirit is now in a state of absolute shock. Your physical body is desperately trying to process a victory your conscious mind does not even comprehend yet. That is why you cannot rest. Every time you try to close your eyes, your mind races back to those moments of extreme pain. You replay the betrayals and the sudden losses over and over. You keep asking yourself what you did wrong, but you must stop this endless cycle of self-blame today. You did not fail. Heaven deliberately allowed you to walk into the fire so you could burn the demons down. And now the enemy is launching one final desperate attack. They are trying to make you feel isolated and forgotten. They want you to believe that the pain was pointless and your future is bleak. Because if they can keep you trapped in this heavy frequency of despair, you will never look up to see the massive blessing descending upon you. You will miss the reward entirely. There is a specific mechanism hidden inside your current struggle. It is a secret code that you will completely miss if you swipe away too soon. If you leave this message now, the blessing will still arrive, but you will not have the spiritual equipment to hold on to it. The darkness will simply return and steal it back from you. Do you really want to risk that? Make a promise to your future self right now. Commit to hearing this absolute truth until the very last word. You need to understand exactly what you killed and why your energy is so depleted. Before we go to the deeper signs, I have to address something crucial about your physical body. The exhaustion you feel today is the key to everything. You are completely exhausted. Your physical body feels incredibly heavy right now. You try to push through the day like everything is absolutely fine, and you smile for your family during your daily tasks. But inside your bones there is a deep ache that sleep cannot fix. This is not ordinary tiredness. Look at your sleep patterns lately. You wake up at 3 in the morning with your mind racing, and you stare at the ceiling feeling completely overwhelmed by sudden anxiety. People tell you to drink tea or take vitamins. They say you are just working too hard. But your intuition tells you something much deeper is happening. Stop letting the world convince you that you are just stressed. Stop thinking you are slowly losing your mind. That strange tightness in your chest is completely real. The sudden drops in your energy when certain people text you are a valid warning. You are a highly sensitive empath, and your body is functioning as a massive spiritual antenna. Every time you step into a crowded room, you feel instantly drained. You pick up on the silent intentions of everyone around you. You absorb their grief and their hidden malice. This is exactly why you crave isolation so desperately. Heaven gave you an unparalleled gift of discernment, but carrying that heavy radar is physically breaking you down. I need you to take a deep breath right now. Let this profound validation wash over your entire spirit. You are not broken. You are not physically sick or emotionally unstable. You are experiencing the intense hangover of a brutal spiritual battlefield because your physical vessel is simply trying to recover from the immense energy you expelled. Think about how much you constantly give to others. You are the cycle breaker in your family tree. You are the one who listens to everyone else cry. You hold their deepest secrets, and you carry their burdens without ever asking for anything in return. You poured your golden energy into completely empty cups, and now your own reservoir is dry. Before we go any further into the shocking truth about your past battles, you must take one crucial step to protect your remaining energy. Hit subscribe to establish a divine energy receiving station. This simple physical action anchors your frequency to a much higher dimension, and it signals to the universe that you are finally ready to receive. Now pay close attention to this next part, because it will make perfect sense of your entire past year. You have felt increasingly lonely lately. The phone stopped ringing. The people you used to laugh with suddenly drifted away from your orbit, and some of them even turned against you for absolutely no logical reason. The isolation feels incredibly cruel. You cried alone in your room wondering why you were abandoned. You analyzed every conversation trying to find your fatal mistake. You thought your frequency was somehow repelling true love. But I am here to tell you the absolute truth today. You did nothing wrong. The rejection was not a punishment, but it was God enacting the ultimate protection protocol. Heaven deliberately slowed you down to protect you from unseen harm. They had to aggressively clear your current timeline. They removed you from rooms you were never meant to enter. They separated you from people who were secretly assigned to drain your precious light. Your current isolation is actually a shield of divine protection, because you are being quarantined for an upgrade. Do you feel that slight pull in your chest right now? That is your intuition confirming this exact truth. Your soul recognizes the validation it has been starving for. The narcissists and the energy vampires could not stand your new pure vibration. So the universe violently ripped them out of your life to save your future destiny. But the sudden silence left you feeling completely hollow. You are standing in the quiet aftermath of the storm, and the absolute silence is deafening. You feel lost because you are so used to fighting and fixing broken things. When there is no crisis to manage, you do not know how to exist, and this stillness feels totally unnatural to your nervous system. You must learn to embrace this new quiet authority. The raging storm is over. The toxic attachments have been permanently severed from your spirit. You are finally safe. But your body is still producing stress chemicals because it remembers the intense trauma. You are constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, and you are bracing for a massive impact that is never going to come. It is time to release that heavy armor. You do not need to defend yourself anymore. The battle you are currently fighting is only a ghost of the past. The demons are already dead, but your tired mind is still wrestling with their lingering shadows. You must tell your physical body that the war is officially over, and you have won. You survived the storm entirely alone. You did not break when they tried to destroy your solid reputation. You did not turn bitter when they betrayed your pure trust. You kept your heart soft in a dark world that tried to make you ruthless, and that pure resilience is exactly why you were chosen for this specific miraculous timeline. Let me take you back to the darkest moment of your recent past. You remember the exact day your heart shattered into a million pieces. Someone you trusted completely walked away and left you bleeding. But what if I told you that this devastating betrayal was actually a highly calculated rescue mission designed to save your destiny? This brings us to the first massive battle. You gave them everything you had. You poured your golden light into their empty soul. You forgave their endless mistakes. And you constantly made excuses for their incredibly toxic behavior because you desperately wanted to believe in their hidden potential. You thought your love could magically heal them, but they were never meant to be healed by you. They were a highly calculated assignment from the dark realm. This was not just a bad relationship or an ordinary toxic friendship. The enemy specifically sent them into your life to closely monitor your rising frequency and completely drain your spiritual reserves. They disguised themselves as a vulnerable person, and your beautiful empathic nature fell right into the trap. You fought endlessly to keep the peace. You swallowed your own tears to make them feel comfortable. You literally shrunk your massive aura so they would not feel intimidated by your brilliant light. But the more you compromised your sacred boundaries, the more power you blindly handed over to the demonic entity operating right behind their eyes. It was a silent massacre. They projected all their deep insecurities onto you. They made you believe you were the one who was completely crazy. You started questioning your own sanity. You apologized for things you never even did, just to stop the exhausting arguments and finally get some rest. That intense psychological warfare was the first demon trying to permanently break your spirit. But here is the absolute truth they tried to hide from you. You did not lose that massive battle. The moment they suddenly discarded you and walked away, you felt like you had failed completely. You cried on the floor, begging heaven for answers. But heaven was actively slamming that heavy door shut, because staying in that toxic connection would have destroyed your future. Pay close attention to this next part. Let this absolute truth sink deep into your weary bones. The universe did not reject you when that relationship abruptly ended. The universe forcefully evicted a dangerous parasite from your sacred space. The trash essentially took itself out because it could no longer survive in your incredibly pure and rising vibration. They thought betrayal would permanently destroy you. They assumed you would turn incredibly bitter and lose your divine spark forever. The demon wanted you to build a massive wall around your heart and never trust humanity again. But instead of turning completely dark, You did something that absolutely terrified the spiritual realm. You learned the painful lesson. You took all that agonizing pain and transformed it into a weapon. You established fierce new boundaries. You finally realized that your pure energy is a sacred currency that must be fiercely protected at all costs. You stopped being a naive empath who blindly accepts everyone. You became a spiritual warrior who carefully guards the gates of your temple. That betrayal was the exact catalyst for your immense awakening. If they had stayed in your life for one more year, they would have completely drained your glorious destiny. Heaven used their toxic departure to shock your nervous system awake. It was a brutal but necessary spiritual surgery to remove a fatal tumor from your divine timeline. This is exactly why the betrayal was a divine intervention. You did not just survive a horrible breakup or a lost friendship. You successfully defeated the demon of illusion and emotional manipulation. You killed the toxic lie that your worth is somehow tied to how much you constantly bleed for ungrateful people. And that was your very first massive victory. You passed the ultimate test of spiritual discernment. God watched you rebuild your entire life from absolute scratch. He saw you wipe your own tears when nobody else came to comfort you. The enemy thought they left you for dead in the harsh desert, but that silent desert became the exact training ground where you finally discovered your true quiet authority. Look at how much you have grown since that terrible day. You no longer tolerate confusion disguised as deep love. You no longer accept disrespect disguised as blunt honesty. Your spiritual immune system is now incredibly strong. The narcissists can smell your boundaries from a mile away, and they absolutely fear the intense power radiating from your new frequency. You killed the first demon by simply refusing to stay a victim, but that was only the beginning of the intense warfare. The darkness quickly realized that emotional manipulation could no longer break your spirit. So they completely changed their sinister strategy. They decided to violently attack the physical and financial foundation of your entire earthly existence to crush you. They wanted to see if you would curse God when you lost everything material. They thought poverty and sudden failure would finally make you surrender, but they drastically underestimated the incredible resilience of a chosen one. You are about to discover how your biggest financial loss was actually the second demon you completely destroyed. There is a hidden mechanism operating in the unseen realm right now. It is a deeply concealed spiritual blockade that is actively delaying your reward. You defeated the demon of emotional manipulation, but the darkness immediately launched a second attack on a completely different front. They came directly for your survival. Think about the sudden financial losses you experienced recently. You worked incredibly hard to build a stable life. You did everything by the rules. And yet the opportunities suddenly dried up out of nowhere because the demonic forces actively plotted to see you fail completely. Doors slammed shut in your face, investments failed, and your plans disintegrated overnight. You thought you were being punished for a secret sin. You stared at your empty bank account and felt a terrifying wave of panic. The world told you that you just made bad business choices, but I am telling you the absolute truth today. That sudden financial collapse was not your fault, and it was actually a highly orchestrated demonic strike against your rising destiny. Listen carefully to this next part. The enemy knows they cannot touch your pure soul, so they decided to attack your earthly resources to force you into submission. They wanted you to become so desperate for money that you would quickly compromise your sacred values. They desperately wanted you to trade your massive divine calling for a cheap and ordinary paycheck. But there is a deeper spiritual mechanism at play here. The universe operates on exact vibrational frequencies. Your soul was rapidly ascending to a much higher dimension. Because your frequency was rising so fast, the old structures of your life literally could not sustain the massive influx of new energy. The fragile old foundation had to completely crumble. You cannot build a massive kingdom on a faulty foundation. God had to completely demolish the old structures to prepare the sacred ground for a generational wealth transfer. The financial loss was simply the loud sound of demolition. It was a rigorous and necessary clearing process to make enough room for what is coming. This brings us to the exact moment you killed the second demon. The demon of scarcity wanted you to curse heaven. They wanted you to panic and completely lose your faith in the ultimate divine plan. But even when you had absolutely nothing left in your empty hands, you still held on to your powerful inner light. You did not break. You sat in the dark and you still prayed with a pure heart. You still showed incredible kindness to strangers, even when you were secretly starving for a breakthrough. That quiet resilience was absolutely terrifying to the dark realm. You beautifully proved that your spiritual power does not depend on earthly possessions, and you became totally untouchable. The narcissists and the fake friends measure their worth by their material wealth. They aggressively hoard physical things because their souls are completely empty. But your immense worth is permanently forged in the brutal fires of survival. Type 111 down in the comments to instantly claim this divine alignment. Do not ignore this simple step. Typing that exact number is a powerful physical anchor. It signals to the universe that you finally understand the test. It proves you are no longer bound by the heavy chains of financial fear. You are actively breaking the hidden mechanism of scarcity right now, while heaven watches your incredible victory. Take a deep breath and let this realization settle into your weary bones. The enemy completely failed to destroy you. They violently stripped away your external comfort, but they accidentally revealed your indestructible core. You survived the brutal desert of financial lack, and your spirit grew incredibly stronger in the total darkness. You are completely different from the sleeping masses. When ordinary people lose their money, they completely lose their fragile identity. But when a chosen one is violently stripped of everything, they simply discover their raw and terrifying divine power. You realize that you are the actual treasure that heaven is fiercely protecting. Your quiet authority is now absolute. The darkness threw its heaviest weapon at your financial stability, and you still did not bow down. You literally killed the demon of material fear by simply refusing to let temporary poverty define your glorious destiny. You passed the brutal test of resources with absolute flying colors. The universe is now preparing a massive restitution for everything that was unfairly stolen from you. The divine doors that are about to open will completely blow your mind. But the enemy had one final desperate card to play. They finally knew they could not break your pure heart, and they could not break your solid faith. So they devised a third evil strategy to completely eliminate you. They realized that a warrior with a strong heart and an unbreakable spirit is a massive threat to their entire kingdom. If they could not destroy you from the inside, they had to isolate you from the outside. The final, violent battle was about to begin. This is where the absolute truth becomes incredibly heavy. The darkness finally realized they could not manipulate your pure heart. They completely failed to crush your solid faith with sudden financial ruin. So they launched their final and most desperate attack against your rising destiny. They decided to completely isolate you from the entire world. Think about how quiet your life has become recently. You look around, and almost everyone you used to know is entirely gone. The silence in your house is sometimes so incredibly thick, it feels like a heavy blanket pressing against your chest. You thought you were being painfully punished with total loneliness. But this isolation is actually a highly calculated spiritual quarantine. The enemy whispered vicious lies to the people around you. They slowly turned your own family and closest friends against your pure light. They manipulated circumstances to make you look like the bad guy. You watched in absolute horror as people who once claimed to love you suddenly turned their backs with cold indifference. It was a massive smear campaign orchestrated by demons. They wanted you to feel completely abandoned. They wanted you to believe that your unique frequency is a terrible curse that simply repels everyone. Because a chosen one, who feels completely isolated, is much easier to defeat than a warrior surrounded by a strong tribe. The enemy desperately tried to cut off all your earthly support systems to starve your spirit. Listen carefully to this crucial revelation. God did not stop the enemy from isolating you, because heaven actually used their evil plan for your ultimate benefit. The toxic people had to be violently purged from your timeline before the massive blessing could finally arrive. God allowed the darkness to expose the fake friends so you wouldn't drag them into your promised land. The narcissists and the emotional vampires simply could not handle your massive, energetic upgrade. Their dark spirits were deeply agitated by the brilliant light you carry, so they naturally repelled away from you like oil pulling away from pure water. The isolation you are experiencing right now is the universe actively detoxifying your entire environment. You cried so many tears over people who never truly valued your golden energy. You mourned the loss of connections that were actually secretly draining your vital life force. But you must stop mourning the trash that finally took itself out. You must recognize this deafening silence as the ultimate sign of divine protection wrapping tightly around your soul. This brings us to the exact moment you killed the third massive demon. The demon of isolation wanted you to completely lose your mind in the deafening silence. They hoped you would become incredibly bitter and deeply resentful toward humanity. They wanted you to completely shut your heart down and never love anyone ever again. But you did the exact opposite. You sat entirely alone in the darkness, and you beautifully learned to become your own best friend. You faced the terrifying shadows of your own deep mind without running away. You healed your own deep wounds when nobody else even offered you a single bandage. You found God in the absolute quietness. You did not beg the toxic people to stay. You did not chase after the narcissists who tried to completely destroy your peace. You simply let them go with quiet authority. And that profound silence was the final fatal blow. You killed the demon of loneliness by discovering that you are completely whole and entirely complete all by yourself. Your sheer presence now terrifies the spiritual forces of darkness. They have absolutely nothing left to threaten you with. They tried intense betrayal, they tried sudden poverty, and they tried total isolation. And you survived every single brutal attack with your pure light completely intact. You are literally untouchable now. The heavy spiritual blockade that was holding back your massive reward is officially broken. The hidden mechanism has been permanently dismantled by your incredible endurance. You have successfully passed the 3 most brutal tests a chosen one can ever face. And now the entire universe is rapidly shifting to align with your newly upgraded frequency. But wait, there is a hidden danger approaching very fast. The enemy knows they have lost the war, but they are incredibly petty. They are currently setting up a fatal trap right at the very edge of your promised land. They want you to stumble just inches away from the massive victory. You must pay very close attention to these final warnings. Before the massive blessing finally drops into your physical reality, there will be a series of very strange signs. The universe will send you clear markers to confirm your incredible elevation. But the darkness will also try to send incredibly deceptive counterfeits to violently throw you off your newly established path. You must learn to clearly distinguish the true divine signs from the desperate illusions of the enemy. The next phase of your journey requires absolute clarity and intense spiritual focus. You are about to step into the exact timeline you were born to completely dominate. Get ready to decode the specific signs of your massive, impending miracle. The universe is actively trying to get your attention right now. You have survived the 3 brutal battles, and your energetic signature has been completely rewritten. Heaven is preparing to drop a massive blessing directly into your timeline, but they need to know you are spiritually awake enough to actually receive it. The signs are everywhere around you. You must look very closely at the strange synchronicity happening in your daily life. The numbers 111 and 777 keep appearing everywhere you look. You see them on clocks, on random license plates, and on receipts when you buy your coffee. People tell you it is just a coincidence, but there are absolutely no coincidences in the spiritual realm. These repeating numbers are direct communication codes from your divine guides. They are actively confirming that the massive shift is already underway in the unseen dimensions. Your entire reality is currently being rebuilt from scratch. The old structure is completely gone, and the new architecture of your glorious destiny is rapidly clicking into perfect place. Take a deep breath and pay very close attention to your physical body. You are suddenly experiencing strange surges of intense energy, followed by sudden crashes of exhaustion. You feel an unusual tingling sensation at the very top of your head. This is your crown chakra, actively expanding to receive massive downloads of pure divine intelligence. You are being completely upgraded. Your intuition has become incredibly sharp lately. You can instantly read the true intentions of everyone in the room without them even saying a single word. The lies that used to easily manipulate your kind heart are now glaringly obvious to your awakened mind. You are no longer the naive empath who begged for basic understanding. You have become a weapon of light. But I have to warn you about the fatal trap right now. Just as the massive blessing is preparing to land, the enemy will launch one final desperate illusion. This is the ultimate test of your new quiet authority. They will suddenly send a toxic counterfeit straight back into your life. An old friend or a toxic ex will suddenly try to contact you out of absolutely nowhere. They will appear highly apologetic and claim they have completely changed. They will text you with sweet words right as you are finally starting to feel genuine peace. Do not answer them. This is a highly calculated spiritual test. The universe wants to see if you will foolishly open the heavy door to the old timeline just because you feel a little lonely. If you reply to their toxic message, you will instantly crash your new high frequency. You will literally tell heaven that you are willing to completely abandon your massive kingdom just for a cheap crumb of familiar pain. The silence is your ultimate weapon here. Let their message remain completely unread. Your pure silence is the disrespect they can never overcome. This brings us to another massive sign of your impending miracle. Your physical environment is suddenly rejecting you. Appliances in your house might start breaking down unexpectedly. You feel an intense and sudden urge to throw away old clothes and completely clear out your entire living space. You are physically making room for the massive wealth transfer that is coming. You are actively shedding the old heavy skin of your past trauma. The person you were just 6 months ago no longer exists. The heavy chains of generational curses have been completely shattered by your intense endurance. You broke the cycle of abuse and poverty in your bloodline, and your ancestors are loudly cheering for your incredible victory right now. But there is a very deep emotional shift happening inside you too. The anger that used to fiercely burn in your chest has suddenly vanished. You no longer feel the burning need to aggressively defend yourself or prove your massive worth to narrow-minded people. You simply do not care what they secretly think about you anymore. This profound lack of anger is not weakness. It is the absolute highest level of spiritual mastery. You have officially stepped into your era of quiet authority. You finally realize that your massive energy demands total respect without a single spoken word. The narcissists are absolutely terrified of this new, completely silent power radiating from your core. The universe is perfectly aligning a massive collision of two totally healed masterpieces. The relationships, the wealth, and the pure peace you have been desperately crying for are currently manifesting at lightning speed. You just need to hold your high frequency for a little while longer. The final heavy door is about to swing wide open. You are the chosen one who successfully survived the massive storm, completely alone. You killed the three terrifying demons of betrayal, scarcity, and isolation without even realizing your own massive power. And now, the immense reward is finally here. Prepare your spirit, because the grand finale of your long, painful waiting season has officially arrived today. The waiting season is officially over. The dry desert you walked through has suddenly burst into an oasis of pure divine favor. Every closed door from your past is currently being blown completely off its hinges. Can you feel that massive shift in your spirit right now? That is the exact frequency of absolute victory. You survived the ultimate spiritual initiation. The three demons of betrayal, scarcity, and isolation were never sent to destroy you. They were the rigorous crucible designed to burn away your fragile human ego and forge you into pure steel. You passed the brutal test. You killed the illusions of weakness forever. You are no longer the exhausted empath who begged to be understood by blind people. The intense crucible of pain has completely transformed you. You are now the untouchable master of your own reality. From this exact moment on, your massive energy demands respect without a single word ever being spoken. The shift is done. Your quiet authority is the most dangerous weapon on earth right now. The toxic narcissists who tried to break your mind are watching your rise in absolute terror. They thought your silence was pathetic surrender, but they failed to realize that your silence was the heavy sound of a supreme ruler taking their rightful throne. This is the ultimate revelation you have been waiting for. The fatal trap of returning to your past is officially destroyed. When the counterfeit knocks on your door tomorrow, you will not even flinch. You will look at the pathetic illusion and simply smile. Because a master of reality never negotiates with dead demons. Heaven is literally handing you the master keys to the kingdom right now. The massive generational wealth transfer is no longer a distant promise. It is an active download streaming directly into your physical timeline. All the massive blessings you cried for during those incredibly dark nights are stepping into the pure light. Take a deep breath and let the heavy armor fall to the ground. The terrifying spiritual war is completely over. You do not have to fight anymore. Your physical body can finally rest in the beautiful arms of divine protection. The frantic energy of survival is leaving your nervous system entirely. You are safe now. You are incredibly loved. Look at the incredible masterpiece you have become today. You are the profound anomaly of your entire bloodline. You are the rare soul who walked straight through the roaring fire and came out smelling like sweet rain. The universe is violently rearranging the earth to honor your profound sacrifice. Your new golden era begins tonight. Every single tear you shed in the dark has been collected and transformed into pure liquid gold. The universe never wastes a single drop of your pain. Your immense suffering was the exact currency used to purchase this spectacular new reality. You bought your total freedom with the beautiful resilience of your own breaking heart. And now the glorious harvest is finally here. The spiritual fields are completely overflowing with divine abundance. You will never have to beg for love or basic respect ever again. The people who are meant to be in your life will naturally gravitate toward your massive light. They will honor your sacred presence without any heavy conditions. The pitch-black darkness has completely retreated behind you. The dawn of the new era is shining its brightest rays directly onto your spiritual crown. Your energy is currently vibrating at the highest possible frequency of human existence. You are literally glowing with pure, untouchable power. Feel the absolute warmth spreading through your chest. To lock in this glorious frequency, you must prepare for a physical act of obedience. The enemy will desperately try to steal this massive realization the second you look away. You need to create an absolute shield of protection around your newly claimed territory. Your physical action will permanently seal the heavy doors of your painful past. We are about to perfectly close the sacred circle. You are standing at the absolute pinnacle of your long spiritual journey. The miraculous timeline you always dreamed about is finally your permanent physical residence. Prepare your heart for the ultimate seal of divine approval. The universe is ready to formally announce your majestic arrival. Do not let this incredible moment slip through your tired fingers. You have fought far too hard to simply walk away without fully claiming your crown. Your divine destiny is loudly calling your true name. The angels are literally standing in total silence, watching your final move. The painful time for hiding your beautiful light is permanently over. You are entirely ready. The heavy chains of your ancestors are totally broken. The massive gates of heaven are swinging wide open specifically for you right now. Embrace the magnificent, quiet authority that naturally flows through your veins. You are the absolute master of reality, and the entire universe is yours to command. You have heard the absolute truth today. The universe has delivered this powerful message directly to your spirit because you are finally ready to ascend. The painful lessons of the past are completely behind you now. The beautiful era of your ultimate divine reign has officially begun, but the enemy will try to steal this realization if you do not lock it in permanently. Spiritual laws require a physical act of obedience to solidify a massive timeline shift. You cannot simply watch this and walk away in silence. You must actively claim your new majestic territory right now. The darkness is hoping you remain entirely passive so they can quietly slip back into your life tomorrow. You must violently shut that heavy door forever. Type Amen or 777 down in the comments right now to completely seal this reality. Declare to the unseen world that you fully accept your immense divine inheritance. By typing that exact code, you are essentially signing a sacred contract with heaven. You are telling God that you are absolutely ready to receive the massive wealth and deep peace you were promised. You are no longer a victim of tragic circumstances. You are the untouchable master of your reality. And a true master knows exactly when to stand up and forcefully claim what belongs to them. Do not hesitate for another second. Claim your glorious kingdom connection and let your quiet authority shine blindingly bright. The universe is fiercely protecting your every step. If this fiery message has reignited the powerful faith inside you, do not keep this massive blessing entirely to yourself. There is another beautiful soul out there, currently bleeding in the dark of despair. They are desperately needing a guiding light right now. Share this specific video with someone who needs to hear it to powerfully multiply your own blessing. Sowing the tiny seed of hope today is actively multiplying the massive harvest for your own tomorrow. When you become a channel for divine intervention, heaven ensures your own cup never runs completely dry. The universe constantly blesses the hands that freely give out pure light. You are actively breaking the heavy chains of isolation for someone else. Hit the like button to activate the powerful flow of divine favor. This is not just about supporting a random video on the internet. It is a bold declaration of your absolute agreement with the spiritual truth that was just spoken over your life. Every physical action you take right now is cementing your brand new reality into the dense physical realm. Anchor your light. You must make a silent vow to your own spirit today. Promise yourself that you will never again shrink your massive aura to make toxic people feel comfortable. Promise that you will fiercely guard the sacred gates of your beautiful temple. You have paid an incredibly high price for this profound wisdom. You must respect your own brutal journey by never settling for less. The book of your painful past is officially closed. The heavy chapters of betrayal and devastating loss are completely sealed shut forever. You are actively writing a brand new, magnificent story today. And in this incredibly beautiful new chapter, you are the absolute, undisputed victor. The enemy does not even get a single footnote in your glorious new destiny. You are completely surrounded by an impenetrable shield of divine angelic protection. The forces of darkness cannot even perceive your new high frequency. You have literally become invisible to the demonic entities that used to constantly harass your mind. You are operating on a magnificent kingdom level now. The ordinary rules of human suffering no longer apply to you. God is watching your brave response in this exact second. Stand tall in your magnificent new frequency. The heavy armor is gone, and the terrifying storm has finally passed. You are entirely safe in the arms of the ultimate creator. The incredible peace you feel right now is your permanent new home. Nobody will ever be able to steal your pure joy again. The 3 demons you killed are completely dead. Your physical body will quickly heal from the extreme exhaustion. Sleep will return to you with profound sweetness tonight. The bizarre anxiety will completely melt away like ice in the warm morning sun. You are absolutely free from the generational curse that haunted your bloodline for incredibly long decades. I am so incredibly proud of your pure endurance. Heaven is throwing a massive celebration in your total honor right now. You walked through the terrifying valley of shadows, and you absolutely refused to let your bright spirit die. You are the ultimate chosen one. Let the glorious reality of your massive victory sink deep into your beautifully healed soul. Go forward with absolute confidence. The universe is actively paving your new road with solid gold. Every step you take from this exact moment will be fully supported by divine grace. Your time of weeping is officially over forever. Welcome to the breathtaking kingdom you were always destined to rule. The brilliant light of God is shining exclusively on you,